Hey beautiful, and welcome to Dr. Sarah's Café. If you want to learn how to maximize the magic of 2025 and elevate to your highest destiny, then I have 9 tips for you using the numerology of the year 2025. Now, if you know basic math, you know that the numbers 2025 boil down to the number 9. And in numerology, the number 9 has significance for all of us collectively experiencing this universal 9 year. So, here are my 9 tips for how to thrive in 2025. In numerology, the number 9 is the end of the cycle, right? So, not counting the master numbers, numerology cycles go from 1 to 9, okay? And so, with this being a 9 year, it's representing the end of some larger cycle for us collectively, and maybe even for you personally. And so the first thing we can do to maximize the magic of this universal 9 year is to think about what's complete in our lives. What are we ready to release? What are we ready what are we ready to relinquish and let go of, because it's done, because it's complete, because it has served its purpose, because it has ripened and is ready to fall off the branch to be enjoyed by whoever desires the fruit of the seeds that we've planted. Think about what you can complete, even if it's not the whole project, even if it's not the okay, we'll take it. Even if it's not the end of the larger vision, maybe it's the completion of a specific chapter or a specific milestone or a specific aspect or piece of a larger picture. Speaking of a larger picture, the second thing you can do to maximize the magic and thrive in 2025 is to think about your larger vision, specifically for the world, for humanity. What are your long-term hopes and wishes for life, all of life, the collective? Get lofty. Don't be afraid to dream really, really big here. 9 is the vibration of the humanitarian. 9 energy is very philanthropic, right? And so thinking about what would be your greatest, highest hope for humankind or for the earth and the planet. And if you're really lofty, for the entire cosmos. Which leads me to the third point is, what are you willing to give to make that vision come true? This is really important. As I mentioned, 9 is the vibration of the philanthropist and the humanitarian. So that means having the vision is only the first part. We also have to understand how we're uniquely gifted to contribute to humanity, right? And so if we want better for the future of all of life and all of the earth, then what are we willing to sacrifice? What are we willing to contribute, to give, to offer the world to make it a better place? And so identifying what that unique gift is that you have to give is going to be really helpful for you in 2025. Now, number 4 might be very difficult for some people, but it's really, really important for this universal 9 energy, which is identifying where you can be more tolerant in your life, specifically tolerant of people who are different than you, tolerant of other religions, other cultures, other backgrounds, even tolerant of other ways of thinking. Now, tolerant doesn't mean you just look the other way when someone's causing harm or enacting violence towards someone, but aside from people actively creating that kind of damage and hurt towards other humans, how can you be tolerant of the different lifestyle choices and personality quirks and, in some instances, even points of view that other people have, right? And so releasing that judgment so that you have an open heart and thinking about this humanitarian philanthropic energy of the number 9, a lot of it requires that we not judge the people, the humans that we seek to serve, right? I remember being asked when I did a panel how I was able to, facilitate the panel. And I was saying, you can't serve the people if you don't love the people. And to love the people means to relinquish judgment about various quirks or differences or idiosyncrasies that they might have, even if they don't perfectly align with who you are or what you value. And of course, keeping in line with this way of thinking, the 5th tip that I have for you to maximize the magic of your 2025 is to cultivate a global consciousness. And so thinking about how can you start to meet people from other parts of the world, but also people who have different creeds or different philosophies than you. And so not only paying attention to what's going on in those parts of the world, but also seeking to understand what's going on beyond your local environment, beyond your own neighborhood or your own country or nationality. And again, trying not to judge the rest of the world based on your local context, your local understanding, and your individual perspective, but seeing how you can try on for size the beliefs and ideas that come from other parts of the globe, that come from other backgrounds and cultures, and just not to adopt or accept them as your own, but to actually make an effort to understand where they are coming from. And so remain open and curious in this aspect, right? And see where the discovery takes you. For some of you, this might take you on a spiritual journey, an intellectual journey, and maybe even a physical journey. Maybe travel is involved for some people in this universal 9-year in terms of developing a greater global consciousness. Now, the number 9 is also ruled by the planet of Mars. And so the 6th tip is to get acquainted with your own Mars energy. If you don't know where Mars is in your birth chart, I recommend Café astrology. You can enter in your birth information and they will tell you exactly where Mars was in the sky at the time that you were born. And if you don't know the exact time, you can still type in the information you do have, because Mars moves more slowly than other planets. It's definitely not the slowest moving planet, but it moves slow enough to where you get a generally good idea of where it was on the day that you were born. And so Mars is the planet of action, of assertiveness. Some people note that it's often the planet of war or aggression or anger or that fiery energy within us. And so you will have the free will choice as to how to use your Mars energy, but understanding your unique fire, your unique assertiveness, how you go to battle for things that you really care about. 9 energy does go to battle for its values. It will stand up and fight for justice, right? For all of humanity, right? 9 energy is very civil rights movement. 9 energy is very, boycotting for fair wages and that sort of thing. And so understanding how you can show up to be assertive and to take that stand in that way can be very helpful for you in leaning into and aligning with this universal 9 energy. And then piggybacking right off of that, in addition to knowing more about your personal Mars energy, is to track the transiting Mars planet as it moves through the sky this year in 2025. So Mars, at the time that I'm recording and releasing this, it is a retrograde. So it will be in Cancer, and it will move all the way halfway across the zodiac to Capricorn by the end of the year. So it's going to go through 6 signs. It's going to make, a 180-degree trip to the other side, all the way to the other side of the zodiac wheel. And so paying attention to the ebbs and flows of your life, what are you inspired to stand up for and speak up about over the course of this year could really help you understand what this universal 9 energy can do to elevate you to your larger vision, to your greater destiny and purpose. And then the last 2 tips that I have are related to the tarot card associated with the number 9, which is the Hermit. Now, the Hermit card is all about cultivating the wisdom from everything you've been through. The Hermit is the old wise person who's reached the top of the mountain. And so with the 9 being the end of a cycle, there's hopefully a lot of wisdom, a lot of insight. You've experienced a lot over the last 9 years. So look back over the last 9 years and say, how have I changed? How have I grown? How have I already been elevated at this point? And what new plateau have I reached? What's the wisdom that I've gleaned from all the things I've experienced over about the past decade or so? And then the last tip that I'll leave you with to absolutely maximize the magic of 2025 is that with that Hermit energy, we know that it's also important for us to follow our inner light. Follow that small inner light inside of you into the void, into the unknown, right? Because if there's a 9 energy that signifies completion and culmination, we know that on the other side of this year, on the other side of 2025, is a new beginning. It's the start of a new cycle for, again, all of us, all of creation that is experiencing this universal 9 year. We're going to step into a 1. And so you have to listen to, cultivate a practice of getting still, cultivate a practice of paying attention to and nurturing that inner light of your own truth, your own wisdom, your own inner voice, because that's going to guide you going forward. Okay, my loves, I hope that this has in some way helped you to refill your spiritual cup, and I hope to see you in the next video, which you can watch right here.